How the heck are ya? It's CDL Super Week, and Clay, not too happy in regards to the last series that they had versus the Los Angeles Thieves, but hey, now's a new opportunity. Hey, like I said, it's Super Week. We got tons of matches, tons of games to come your way, Subliners being one of those teams. Study, it's been some time, my friend, a little bit of a break, but how are you?
I'm okay, man. I'm just excited to get into these matches. You just saw Clayster completely raging at his team when they lost to the LA Thieves there in that series 3-0. That series could have went either way, so I totally understand the frustrations out of Clayster. Today, you got the London Royal Ravens right in front of you. I'm excited to see what this matchup brings to us.
Definitely, man. You know what? It's early, right? We talked about the Subliners, you know, not the greatest start in regards to the overall record of things, but hey, lose a close series versus the LA Thieves. It's going to happen from time to time, but now is their chance. We've been talking about New York a lot. Let's go ahead and meet the Subliners.
Don't let us down. Bring home a championship. Not one, not two, maybe 3 or 4.
Yo, Clay, if you don't bring home the championship, you out of here, boy.
Hey, if there's one thing about the city that I understand, it's that they don't tolerate losing.
He's in from behind again. Clayster with 2.
So I'm bringing championships. We're bringing them by the dozen.
Just make sure the snipes is hitting. Headshots only. Anything hot in the headshot is uncivilized.
What a Zuma is? Zoom? He's on Zoom meeting?
The stallion is frying. The stallion is cooking.
Not quite what I was thinking.
You guys gonna kill it out there.
Good luck this season.
Thank you guys so much. This season's for y'all.
Subliners, way to go. New York's behind you 100%.
We're bringing a championship to New York City.
Here's a look at your New York Subliners. NYSL, obviously a new look team coming into this year. Really the only addition staying from last season, that being Mack, and he was pretty much a mid-season addition to this team. Obviously, as we talked about at Study, kind of to start off this series, Clayster not happy with the team in their performance, but it could also be a great opportunity for them to learn from their mistakes. We know Clay, a passionate guy, and that's only going to drive this team to try and improve coming into their match today.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, man. Clayster winning back-to-back champs the last 2 years in a row. So he's expecting perfection. He wants to be able to win these matches and look left and right and be confident in all of his players. And that first match, you could just feel it. Like, probably with some nerves, some jitters. You know, Diamondcon was making his very first appearance into the CDL. But once you get that match underneath your belt, unfortunately, you lost it. Now it's really start for the season. I'm expecting players to step up because Clayster's looking for perfection. He's trying to go for ring number 4, and his teammates need to be there to help him.
Definitely, man. It's going to be a fun one. Obviously, both teams starting off 0-1. A lot of talk about the Subliners, but let's go ahead and meet our London Royal Ravens.
Once he gets up top, and frankly, he has no intention of slowing down. Alex, though, with the angles once again. The Ravens wins a big one from across the pond.
London, much like New York, a different looking team coming into this season. Not as drastic as New York, but definitely having a few additions from time to time. One of those obviously being Alex. The other, Parasite, right? Study his second series with the Ravens, goes to Game 5 versus Seattle just a few days ago. I mean, me and you were actually talking in the green room, the virtual green room that is, ahead of this series, talking about Parasite, his ability in the last series. Plays well, especially in that Game 5 on Raid. Like, started off like 9-2 or something like that. There is definitely something with this Parasite guy. I know it's been some time since we've seen him in the limelight, but I think he could be a really good addition for this London team.
Oh man, Parasite, you know, a world champion and a respected player throughout the entire community. The guy's just been putting on a grind show throughout the last 10+ years, just trying to get back. Now he's back into the pro league, and I'm excited to see what this guy's able to do. Last week they lost both search and destroys. You know, this week they're gonna have a little bit more practice as a team, so I'm expecting that to be a lot more cleaner. Now it's all gonna come down to just who's gonna be able to pull away the respawns. I would like the New York Subliners just keep up in the slaying department, because last week Mack just didn't have a performance that we expect him to be. But hopefully on this very first map we'll get to see these showdown.
Yeah, including kickoff, man. We talk about hardpoint specifically. I believe both teams, like, I think it's 0-2 for New York, 1-3 for London, at least solely in this Game 1 mode. But here we go. Ravens v Subliners, both teams ahead of CDL Super Week, looking to try and get their first W on the board. We'll be looking through the eyes of the new addition in Parasite first, going for that top green control. We talked about it really throughout a majority of this map. It's going to be a primary location, definitely where you want to be. Parasite able to find one off the start. In New York, they're happy to hop in and get some free hill time.
Well, 4 dead go down right for the London Royal Ravens right off the rip. You're going to see the Subliners able to put some time in towards this P1 hardpoint. But 30 seconds now, you're going to see that player, number 5, is going to be Asim winning a huge gunfight towards green. Mack currently on a 5 spree. He must have heard me right before that He was like, no, don't worry, J Stud. I'm going to be here today and put on a show for you, buddy. And that's exactly what he's doing so far, man. They have the setup for that P2 off the rotations. So far, it's a great start for the NYSL.
That's exactly what you want, right, out of Mack. I know he honestly drops there, but I think he had like a .63 in their last series versus the Thieves. Clearly trying to turn things around coming into what is a major matchup for both of these rosters. Again, it cannot be understated. Obviously, we've got a lot of matches to come through, but we are 1 week away from that Stage 1 major. Both teams have to be on point. NYSL currently with that P2 spawn advantage. However, a quick little rotation being made from Parasite and Co. here over at green. Looking left, looking right. Parasite has to try and dive on in. It looks as if it will be London. They're able to find the kills. They're able to pretty much transfer when necessary. Now they've got the time.
Yeah, that was a great pinch out of the London Royal Ravens. They left Clayster completely alone in that back tank area, just pinched the spawns, and that's exactly what they were doing, able to pick up some time. Shawnee on a 5 spree, making 6, going for the 7th, and that's going to be 4 down for NYSL. Now, if you're the London Royal Ravens, this is the best case scenario. You're picking up the remaining junk time on this P2, and you're also going to have the spawns for that P3. It's all about trying to cut them off. Shawnee, once again, on a 7 spree, trying to find these players crossing across that lights, but he's going to get taken down there, but job well done. They should have spawns for this next hard point. Holding this kill cam right there was the best possible outcome, but here comes the NYSL trying to break through the front.
NYSL somewhat successful up to this point. Again, as you called it, Ravens with the spawns. Really, Shawnee trying to break out, see if they can stay up. A good sequence up to this point as Dylan is able to drop 2. Same thing for Shawnee. He's got 2 in a row. Make it 3 in a row. 11-4 start for the Scotsman. Wipes things away as London will now regain control for now. But here comes the utility. And the shots starting to come in through 10. However, Dylan's going to be there. The close SMG is going to be able to help London in the end of things. And we can really talk about Dylan a lot. Had some really good sequences in their last series versus Seattle. And last year was kind of a year that he doesn't necessarily want to remember just in regards to his performance of Black Ops 4. But tell you what, this guy can absolutely be a piece for them. And really him and Alex together, that combination in terms of the SMG slang, it's going to be a force to reckon with. Obviously, New Hill is up, and it's going to be NYSL currently with control. Again, you're looking at those SMGs of Dylan and Alex to try and do some dirty work up close.
Yeah, it's going to be the combination between Dylan and Alex versus Asim and Diamondcon. You saw Mack pick up that M4, was able to pull out, go on a 5 spree. You're going to see right off the rip, Alex is finally able to put a couple kills together. He was sitting at 0-5 going into that P3 hardpoint. Now, they're going to put themselves in a 20-point lead on this P4, but here comes Mack pushing around the caution. 2 are going to go down for the London Royal Ravens. And here come the Subliners trying to flip this spawn lead.
And NYSL has a nice setup, at least for the time, continually finding these players out toward back gens. Diamondcon up close, he's got an engagement, and he'll win that one as well. The feed filling up with Subliners. 10 seconds left on this one, and the Ravens, they're continuing to spawn really back here. As long as they hold up these positions, it can continue to be problematic for London. Clayster, 14-8. He's going to be trying to hit every single shot from range that he can. Really, the Subliners trying to hold him off as far as they can, trying to really break him off from that previous spawn. Player 4 was actually toward the back, and it looks as if for now, London may have the opportunity to try and flank this, spawning now on the other side. Easton trying to go for a nice little gunfight on the Parasite. That one's going to be TBA for now, but still, it's been Subliners pretty much all throughout these last few sequences.
Yeah, the NYSL have done a great job rotating from P4, holding basically a complete 60 on that hardpoint, and also setting up for that P5. You see, they put themselves at basically a 30-point lead. Clayster's on this hardpoint, trying to pick up some more kills, but So far, NYSL are playing this beautifully, man. They were trapping them in the backside of P4, spawning towards P3. Then even on this hill, they're spawning them towards the tank. It's exactly what they want to do. Now you're going to see a couple players from the London Royal Ravens spawn towards dark and eventually try to pick up the remaining junk time. But it's all about this top green control, and already Diamondcon is in that position.
Diamondcon is. Parasite gets traded out, and looks as if New York are going to try to break through from the middle. In the midst of this, let's actually go to an Astro Gaming listen with NYSL.
Watching yo.
One arches.
Just watch him mid. Good G. Nothing yo, guys. Nothing yo. I'm still holding yo. Get this full 40. He's green, weak. He's holding the green too there. Watch your yo still. BSNE green. I had to give up float, guys.
I did it on their side. I'll even.
All dead.
That was a top green weak.
Top green dead.
Hold them. Let's wait. I'm pushing Alcon.
Back to L. Top green. Heads up.
I don't see him, brother. One's back main, one out.
Weak on point. Two on point. There's two under vent. There's two under there. Yeah. Here you go.
I got one more. Dylan's on the head. Get time.
I'm flanking.
Get these skills and work around the back. We got time.
That'll fold. You got our green push. Back left tank, weak as fuck. Nothing arch on me.
Back left tank. Let's go. Still spawning here.
Close bricks.
Dead.
Alex, get out of here.
They're spawning out.
Back alley, shorty in the corner. Where? In the back corner.
You love the passion. You love to hear this team, a group of really great communicators, as they will regain now spawns coming into this next hill. Just as I say that, though, the Ravens are happy to hop on the point for the moment. And there could be some issues as Shotzzy now on a 5 spree himself. Thankfully, the nade from Mack is going to be able to take him down. Study, I wanted to ask you about the communication, but it really doesn't equal out to much. Some good moments here and there for NYSL, but they try to make their way through bricks. They're able to get it, but once they have the spawn, it's really nothing from there.
Oh, man, yeah, the communication was nice and clean. You know, you heard Clayster just making sure he's emphasizing a couple of these call-outs. Shotzzy was such a big kill in back alley that he eventually ended up going on a 5 spree towards the very end. And this is a great answer from the Ravens. You see them with that P2 able to pick up at least 40 seconds there. They do have streaks going into towards this P3 hardpoint as well. So you're going to see a couple players trying to fight out the back. 2 players are going to go down before go down for the London Royal Ravens. NYSL, so far a great hold and trying to just add to this lead and close out this map number 1.
Good hold, a stable one, but still more pushes from the Ravens to come as the nade is going to try to open things up. Asim is left to try and reference back. Clayster will be there for the trade. And really, if you're London, if you got a few different options, you try to make your way through vents, through 10, really kind of through that back artillery angle, but it is really NYSL, Clayster specifically, watching pretty much everything. 20 valuable seconds left, and it appears that New York is going to grab every single one of those seconds. At least I'd be one to bet on it. That's just really good overall control, right? They have a few different sequences. Ravens, they try to break from the front. Really remained somewhat unsuccessful, and based off of that push, New York, they're going to reach 200.
Yeah, the NYSL, just their hold so far. So far, when they have been set up for a hard point, they have been holding it down perfectly. We saw them at P4 on the very first rotation, now at P3 when they are fully set up. London Royal Ravens, they tried to use some streaks to try to break it, but NYSL just heads up, able to get 4 down. Now they're 35 seconds away from closing out this map number 1. They're forcing all the players from the London Royal Ravens to spawn back P3. This is going to be a difficult task, man. If you're London, you need to go left side. You need to try to work towards that dark area and eventually work towards top green. Top green is basically the power position on this entire map. And so far, NYSL have been dominating it.
They do, but it actually is going to be the Ravens that end up walking away with the team fight. Somewhat surprisingly, given the map positioning. I know you called out, they probably need to go left. And it's hard, right? You have that objective in front of you, but they decided to go for it, all guns ablaze. At least for now, Ravens still holding on. Alex, in the midst of a flank, drops one. Diamondcon's going to be there for the equalizer. Shotzzy from range, man. He's really been kind of one of the bright spots for Ravens so far throughout this matchup. Sitting pretty when it comes down to his score, but really in terms of the overall game, Subliners just 15 away from locking this one up. Clayster over in top green, pretty much watching over every single angle possible. Mack's already progressed up into brick. Shotzzy's aware of it. Mack will win it. 26-20 for what is this year 2 guy. Not a great game versus the Thieves, but starting to turn things around. Parasite tries to hop inside the point. That's going to be a no-go. NYSL continue to put on the pressure. A few players from London are actually able to hop inside for the time. Diamondcon, XM4 up top ramp is going to try to pretty much mow everybody down that he sees. It's Diamondcon from afar. It's Mack up close. The trades are in. And NYSL, they win their first official map, 250 to 151.
And you gotta be feeling good if you're the NYSL, man. Your hardpoint game looked really strong, especially on this map. Every time you rotated, you guys held it on a great setup. Even when you guys were rotating towards the next hardpoint, you guys knew exactly what you needed to do. They spawned London Royal Ravens back P3 for the P4, then they spawned them at back P5, all the way in the back tank area, and they were just going back and forth, completely just dominating that map of rotations. Good first hardpoint out of NYSL. If you're the London Royal Ravens, that map is kind of scary. You had 3 players go -10, and that's not something you expect. It all comes down to just playing from that back foot, not having rotations, and just fighting people fully set up. Pretty difficult map for them. Hopefully they're able to bring it back in map 2.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's hard, right? Because we're talking about 2 of these teams. If you're London, you're kind of, I mean, really when we talk about both of these rosters, right? They played 1 official series, both 0-1 as it currently sits. And as we as analysts, as we as talent are trying to figure out how exactly both of these teams work, given that they're new rosters, and because it's new, both of these teams are also trying to figure out who they are as well, right? Because if you're London, you've got the new addition of Parasite, you're still trying to figure out things. If you're New York right now, right, you've got Diamondcon, recent additions as well. A lot of new pieces moving in, but hey, as we talked about it at the start of the show, Clayster not too happy with his team's performance last week. I'm sure he's at least currently somewhat happy with the way that they played throughout that first hard point. But hey, S&D is up next. Ravens looking to try to equal the score. However, we've got game 2 checkmate up right after this.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
It is CDL Super Week Tuesday. A lot of matches still to come. Obviously, we're in the midst of a great one going down right now between the London Royal Ravens and New York Subliners. NYSL currently finding themselves up 1-0, gaining their first map win of the CDL. I'm sure that Clayster would like to talk about how he could be happy with it. I think just in general, he's at least, you know, complacent with the way that they played throughout that first game. We're going to get to our game field keys to victory first with the Ravens. How do you walk me through it?
Yeah, we're going to start right off the rip. Dylan can make or break this series. Hardpoint win versus Seattle, 1.35. The hardpoint low is 0.76. And like I said on that very first map, they all went -10. Maintain the strafe in control. 1-0 this season. Dylan's 6th highest KD with a 1.3. Parasite also needs to step up and search and destroy with a 1.07. We saw Parasite last week. Unfortunately, they lost both search and destroys in that series. But even though to start this very first map, we saw a lot about Dylan, just keeping up in that slaying department, and unfortunately, that first map he wasn't there. He's definitely gonna have to bring it back throughout the rest of the series.
Definitely, Dylan gonna be a major part for London. On the side of New York, our game field keys to victory for them. Mack has to be on form, as we talked about it kind of throughout the map. Finished with a 0.63, -27 overall versus the Thieves. Must close out games, and in their 0-3 loss to the Thieves, they Lost hardpoint despite being up 234 to 190, and also lost the search and destroy after being up 4-2. And that's really where a lot of that frustration from Clayster came in on. You know, it wasn't as if they just lost a 3-0 and got dominated. It was really a lot of different sequences where they should have closed out the maps. And I know, Study, you and I were kind of in the green room watching this one, kind of getting some notes from it. And it really was, hey, New York, they kind of choked it. And that's going to be a big thing for them, especially with a lot of young players. Mack in his second year, Diamondcon in his first. I know Asim's now getting into his third season, but you got a lot of new blood here, a lot of players to kind of try and develop, and especially in these big games, which we're already talking about it, you know, they're going to have to be on form, and they cannot allow for any team to catch an advantage, because it was Chance earlier who alluded to it. The amount of skill and talent that is in the CDL right now, you cannot allow for any real mistakes to come through.
Oh yeah, you definitely can't, man. Switching from 4v4 to, from 5v5 to 4v4 to eliminate probably some dead weight on some of these rosters, but just the top competitors, 4 players on each team, 12 teams, you're getting the best of the best, man. And so far, the CDL 2021 season is not disappointing.
Oh, it's definitely not, my friend. S&D now on some good old checkmate. It's the A Street rush early, and that's going to be a pick, actually. Alex is going to take down Clayster. I think you saw Clay was somewhat surprised by the initial engagement. Asim quickly trying to even out the man count. He's actually going to do it just like that. A quick 2-piece inside of the plane, and a rotation for him and Mack. 2 versus 2, Shani and Alex still up. That could be a little bit of a line sight, potentially, for Shani if he were to stay in that position, but looks as if for now, Bomb still going to stay over at B. Just a matter of time before those digits really kind of get punched in, and again, it's going to be Shani. I think he might have spotted somebody there. And he does! Can't finish it, though!
Yeah, Shani was in a great position in that aLLeY to have some eyesights onto that B site. 29 seconds remaining on the clock. NYSL have to get this bomb down. You're going to see Alex and Shani taking control of this plane. NYSL trying to wrap this bomb towards A. They're going to be able to spot them, so it's going to be a pretty difficult plant now. Asim has one play, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Try to plant that, extend the time. Here comes shots out of Alex, able to take down one. Now it's Asim left in a 1v2.
Gonna have to be the ace. There's the hat trick. Needs one more. 35 seconds left, and if you're Shani, you've got somewhat of a tall task, considering the speed which Asim likes to play with. Gets a little bit aggressive. And again, Shani, he's happy to get any single advantage that he can, given the uphill battle this 1v1 is going to take. Asim goes for the challenge yet again, brought down to 90. Throws out the nade. Shani's actually going to be on the defuse. Is he going to check this one in time? Shani's going to hold it. Shani's going to keep it. Can Asim come around the corner in time to finish it? And no! He's not going to be able to do it. Shani, in the 1v1, goes for the defuse, punches in the digits right in time. And my goodness, Shani putting his signature really throughout the entirety of the round. Asim did everything he could, but it was just the final ending touches that will give the Ravens the first round. My goodness.
It was just no hesitation out of Shani right there, man. He saw that nade come in. He knew Asim was going to play for that guy to push and be aggressive on it, but the clock was just ticking, man. Shani made the heads-up play, hopping on that bomb. Now they're going to be going into an offense. Look at how exactly they decide to play this. It's looking like they're going to try to play aggressive towards plane. Diamondcon with some great shots on the Shani. Unfortunately, not able to clean up that kill. But it's looking like the London Royal Ravens are going to work up towards B. Nice and slow. But Mack is here trying to play spoiler.
And Asim, the SMG duo. Really, I believe only XM4's out for now. No Kriegs. I know we saw a lot of that for Florida. Dylan quickly gets tagged up. Just as I say that, Dylan's actually the one with a Krieg, believe it or not. Shani, of course, continuing. Finds the first blood. Mack is going to be there for the overall team trade. 3 versus 3. It's player 1, Parasite, trying to be annoying over at that A Street. And definitely could cause some problems. He and Dylan together. Mack's going to try to go for somewhat of the challenge, somewhat of the bait and switch, but it's actually the team shots that'll work out for New York. It's Alex, last man alive, 25 seconds left. Bomb not in a great position, goes for the chow on Clay. Go back up toward Finn, 3v1. I think I might have said 2, but 3 for New York. Tagged up left and right, and there goes Alex. NYSL respond.
Oh, that was a great round, man. Great patience out of Mack right there. He was able to get one kill, back down, and just completely bait both of these players, set up his teammate to get that crossfire to eventually get 2 down. That was a great patience, opening up with that first blood. Good defensive round out of NYSL.
Good composure. Asim, by the way.
6-0.
6-0 to start. And really, despite the round loss, like I said, he did everything he could in that first one. Shawnee, just a little bit too clever. We'll have to come up with a new nickname for him, right? It was Construction Man last year. Who knows? Maybe he'll do something involving the airport. I don't know. That's probably something for Miles to come up with, to be honest with you. But NYSL back on offense. A quick, aggressive route really toward that B wing. They may actually try to go for somewhat of a flank here. Shawnee really being the only player in their way. Probably the one guy that you don't want to face off against, given the positioning. But Asim's able to win it. Now up to 7-0. And really based off that mini-map, London are quickly starting to transfer. Aware of the overall position. Ox not going to be able to be a safe location for Asim. Trades will work out to where now it's going to be Parasite left in a 1 versus 2 versus Clay and Diamondcon. Really all ARs for the remainder of this bad boy, and Clay is going to be able to win. I thought Parasite had a chance to walk away with it, but that shot from Clay has been good all season long, and it's only going to continue to be. Ooh, okay. All right.
That round was beautiful, man, out of NYSL. They knew that the London Royal Ravens left the opening on that right side of the map. They decided to just completely not go for either one of those bomb sites and try to work around the backside of plane. They were able to just trade it out effectively, eventually turn it into a 2v1. I just like the no rush, no playing impatient, no trying to force that bomb plant towards B. Great play out of NYSL.
Over plays early from New York. Parasite 0-3 start. Would be nice if we could find a pick. Dog's getting involved. We love that.
Yeah, my dog's getting involved. I'm sorry, guys.
No worries, my friend. My dog actually was barking a ton during the opening. I don't think anybody heard it, but it happens, my friend. CDL poochers like to get involved from time to time. But again, really slow route. Clay just really wants to hold on as Diamondcon will come through with 2. Mack with the nade, and now Dylan wondering what just happened to his teammates. They were trying to play slow. He's left in really no man's land. And that's going to be New York back-to-back.
So far, NYSL's defenses are beautiful. They're always having a player watching over their opposing teammate. Right here, so Diamondcon able to put down great shots, eventually get a 2-piece, but it was shots from Clayster that was sitting on that back box area, able to put him down, put a couple shots down onto Parasite to give the 2-piece to Diamondcon. It just looks like the NYSL are just more prepared on this map. They have crossfire set up for each one of their teammates. No one ever is going to fight a gunfight by themselves. And Asim, 8-1, man. Starting off this game hot. Don't forget, they only lost that first round because Shawnee basically got an ninja defused in the last couple of seconds. NYSL could be up 4-0 right now. Hopefully, if they keep this pace, Clayster getting first blood, they should be able to close this out.
Yeah, not only does Clay find the first blood, he also escapes. Something he wasn't able to do in some of the earlier rounds. Parasite still yet to get on the board. Probably deserves a little bit of, maybe an assist. Putting in some work, but again, it's really New York taking advantage of mid early. And there's another pick. Now Parasite all by himself. Now's his opportunity. Able to drop 1. 1 versus 2. Very similar situation. Really just a round to go. It was Clayster that won the fight, but Parasite up close versus Asim, and that is not going to happen. Look, that's what, 4 rounds in a row for NYSL. Again, off of the ninja defuse from Shawnee. As you called it, Stud, this very well could be 5-0, a very, very dominant-looking team in this mode. And that very well could be to, the loss versus LA Thieves kind of starts to refocus them a little bit. Obviously, they had the 0-3 loss versus Dallas at kickoff. I mean, technically, they were 0-6 coming into this particular series. I think this team has definitely gone back, done their homework, and really practiced as much as they could, given weather conditions.
Yeah, they definitely have. They definitely have. But if you're the London Royal Ravens right now, you lost 2 searches in that last series last week. Now, this is another search and destroy. You got another week of practice under your belt. But as I say that, 3 are going to go down. Okay. 4 go down for London. It's looking like their search and destroy is completely abysmal. And NYSL are just completely dominating on this map number 2.
They are, man. I mean, a very, very quick one. I don't even think London can keep track of what was occurring. We'll get at least somewhat of a replay back, and prayers to our observers for trying to track how fast of a round that one was. But Mack really just being a thorn in the side toward bottom plane. Now 5-1. Hyper-focused Clayster giving out the comms and probably just giving a lot of kind words to Asim. 11-1. I know we've been calling out his stats constantly, but he has just not slowed down. Continuing to be a force, and through that mid-plane. Nice shots from Clayster from afar. Mack up close. Does get traded out from Dylan, so Bomb, at least for the moment, not in a great spot. Dylan continuing to make his way up a street. He's going to run into a Diamondcon. Con man from New York, able to stay alive, and here come the streaks from Asim, or at least pinging them for now.
Yeah, he was definitely using that ping right there. Able to spot both players. Asim able to take down one on the Shawnee. Now it's Parasite left in a 1v3 situation to keep his team in this map. Able to take down Clayster. Bomb is going to be playing it towards B. He's not trying to give up his positioning by jumping up, making any noise. They can hear him. He's going to decide to push towards this right wing. Jumps down, spots one player, but unfortunately he's going to get taken down. And the Subliners, NYSL, up 2-0 in the series.
Up 2-0 in the series, and it's going to be Asim, well-deserved, or the best play. He also takes down, I think it was Parasite in the final kill as well. We'll have to be taking a look at his stats. I mean, an unbelievably impressive performance from him. And really, you can give props to NYSL, but a lot of it was just Asim throughout a majority of the map. Yeah. I feel like at least 3, if not 4 rounds in a row, Parasite found himself in like a 1v2, 1v3. And you see Asim getting hyped there. Love the player shots. Kind of all the players had their cameras turned on. It is a great year, great season, but good moments really from NYSL all around. Hit the commanding 2-0 lead for the moment, and 13-1. Cannot be understated. Asim was frying throughout game 2.
And we talked about it in the keys to victory. We were looking at Parasite, especially in a game mode like Search and Destroy, to step up. He was sitting at a 1.07 throughout his entire series of last week. Now he's 2-7 in Search and Destroy. They found themselves down 2-0 versus NYSL. NYSL so far, map 1, completely dominated. Map 2, they only lose 1 round off of a Ninja Defuse. Could have easily been a 6-0. So now, if you're the London Royal Ravens going into this map number 3, this needs to be the bounce back, or you're going to be going home in a sweep.
And thankfully, if you are London, like, Control is your best mode, but, I mean, just given the way the first 2 maps have gone, I don't care what the stats will say. Yeah. Given the way that they've played recently, New York just looks like a different team. And granted, it's hard, right? Because their series versus the Thieves, it was super close. Like, I mean, everybody was in regards to it saying, hey, despite it being a 3-0, it's probably one of the closest 3-0s that we have seen in an incredibly long time. But obviously, props to the Subliners for doing what they did. We're going to take a quick look back now at that Search and Destroy for our U.S. Army tactical play. This one coming in round number 3. Did you take a gander at this one? I'm assuming Asim's going to be involved in some way, Study.
Yeah, it was just all about this round number 3, man. Them not being aggressive on offense, at least not towards one of these bomb sites. They decided to push out towards that right side of the plane. You see Asim was able to open up with one Mack immediate there for the trade. And once again, he's going to get traded, so now it's a 2v1 situation. You could just tell right there for the NYSL, the communication was there. They were never going to let one of their teammates just left out to dry. Forces Parasite in a 1v2. And then you're shooting up against the 3-time world champion in Clayster. He's going to take you down with that XM4. If you're the London Royal Ravens, like I said, map 3, we need a new spark. Because if not, it's going to be a 3-0 for NYSL.
Yeah, that's a good call, my friend. Who's going to be the spark? We've talked about it. Could it be Dylan? Could it be Alex? A lot of different combinations. Maybe Parasite. Who knows? Definitely something going to be needed coming into this game 3. New York finding themselves up 2-0. Is Control the answer, or are we done? We'll find out right after this.
The New York Subliners. This is basically a brand new roster for the Subliners. All things have changed, and here we go. Clay once again comes up clutch.
He is the true veteran.
Diamondcon, oh, keeping this run going.
Asim has really been having himself a hell of a series. Mack popping up in the feed.
Shout out to Mack, that was a killer 2-piece. And a fantastic end to the round there for New York.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
Whoa! Up over the top! Not a single given. London has burst into life.
Johnny up top. That is a 4-3 for him. There's number 5.
Taking you higher. Yeah, the lights getting brighter. Out of control. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to go. Got something to prove.
Ravens looking to cement themselves as the kings of Europe.
It is CDL Super Week, Day 2, current series Subliners versus the Royal Ravens. It has been, spoiler alert, a very one-sided affair. NYSL finding themselves up 2-0, looking good, and now we head into checkmate control. I mean, honestly, we look at the stats for Royal Ravens. They've been better in control. Overall, KDs for them have been good. Certain players kind of performing in this mode in comparison to others, especially at the kickoff in their first series versus Seattle. But still, I don't know, man. It's not been easy for them. And I know we kind of go back, take a look at a few different players. A lot of focus has kind of been on Parasite for this team, kind of the temporary substitute as we wait to see what happens with Zero, but Search and Destroy, 17 and 21, 0.81 overall this season for Parasite. It's not easy, right? I mean, it's not an easy situation for him to try to come into this team, kind of try to transfer his playstyle into a roster that's really just trying to make do, really until Zero's able to come back. So, not an easy time for them. And when we talk about their schedule as well, they've got a lot of difficult teams ahead. They've got Dallas, Thieves, and Minnesota after this series versus NYSL. A very tall task for the Ravens, and one that maybe can be changed up after this control is done.
Well, yeah, I'm just really hoping, like you just said, that schedule is really, really scary for the London Royal Ravens after this series right here, especially in Search and Destroys. Like, I'm expecting Parasite to be that player that's going to step up in those Search and Destroys. Unfortunately, they basically get 6-0 on that last map. One round going to their favor because of a Ninja Defuse, but overall, their strategy in Search and Destroy is just not good, man. I'm really hoping that they're able to just fix that, especially because we are in Super Week. There's so many matches that need to be played, and so far, your hardpoint doesn't really look too good. Your Search and Destroy, you're not winning them, and you're just starting out in these series 0-2, man. No one is keeping up in the slaying department for that roster either. They just need to have a spark, man, like I said, especially on this map 3. This can make or break this roster right here, especially going throughout the rest of this week.
Yeah, that's a great call, my friend. And I feel like, too, like if you are in London's situation, again, you're looking at the schedule ahead, you're thinking, hey, we're down 2-0. Do you think Parasite can kind of be that guy, given his history? We know how vocal he likes to be on teams, sometimes to a fault, but still, nonetheless, I mean, do you think that he can kind of be a player that, despite joining them late, could possibly be the one that is able to kind of unite them, to be the force in the comms?
Definitely, man. If you're Parasite, you're trying everything you can to possibly solidify your spot back into the CDL. So you're going to be the best teammate you possibly can. Every single call-out's coming in, every single time your teammate needs a trade or something, you should be there. So if you're Parasite, I know you find yourself down 0-2 in this series right now, but you still got to keep your head high. There's still a series to be finished here. Hopefully in this map number 3, the London Royal Ravens are able to show some life.
I mean, what? It's been a crazy day up to this point. Paris winning 3-0 in their series versus Florida. That one was a shock.
I couldn't even believe that either.
I know, we were talking to each other. We're like, wait, this one's over already? Props to the Legion, without a doubt. I think for the Ravens, maybe a little bit of salt the wound, straps as a good performance today. I don't really know. Maybe I'm digging where I don't need to. But still, again, not an easy schedule. We had it on the screen for a moment. Got some very, very solid rosters to face off against. And really the road, that's a problem with this group, right? This group A, a lot of people talked about it, how difficult it was going to be. And unfortunately for London, you face off against Seattle. You obviously lose that one in the game 5. You really needed to have that. You needed to come out better here versus NYSL. At least two teams that to start off the season haven't been great, but again, they've got some stat competition still to face off against. So again, it's going to have to be in this control. And now, correct me if I'm wrong right now, Study, but I feel like it's going to have to be Dylan really coming into this control to be a major difference maker for the roster. But we're going to take a quick look here at New York Subliners. Their road to the Stage 1 Major. Obviously lose that series versus the Thieves. They've got a few matchups, 4 to be specific, throughout Super Week. Their current one versus the Ravens. They've got the Røkkr on the 25th, Empire the next day, and the Seattle Surge to close things out. Again, no easy teams, no easy schedule for anybody. Yeah. For New York, you're happy to get at least the start that you have up to this point. Again, all the emphasis on this control. It's been good for London. Subliners, we have no idea what to expect just because of how close that their series really was versus the Thieves, but I'm just hoping it's a good one, man. I don't want to start off the day with 2 3-0s.
Oh man, me either, man. I think we're like probably the bad luck or bad juju casting duo. Yeah. Like so far we've had a couple series that just go 3-0. We only had one series go 3-2 so far. So I would like to see a couple of this team just push it to the limit, man. Show some life. I need some more Call of Duty to talk about, man. Give it to me, fellas. Come on.
Definitely, my friend. Well, hey, you know what? Can we do something really quick, Study? Possibly to see if we can get a game 4? Okay. Spirit fingers? Am I hearing spirit fingers? I got the big hand, spirit fingers.
All right.
Come on, London. Give us a game 4. We really want a game 4, possibly. I don't know why I just thought of the spirit fingers, but hey, you know what? We can do whatever we want. It's the virtual set. High five, stud. Oh,
high five,
went away from us. We did it. The camera just didn't happen to capture it. So, again, we're all chemistryed up. Well, hopefully the Royal Ravens can actually be, better in the chemistry department coming into this next one. But still, just a few issues getting into the lobby, making sure everything's secure. We want this game to roll without a hitch. Obviously, we want to make sure that this game can be fully played out, make sure everything is good. But here we go. Looks like checkmate control is in fact loading up. We talk about checkmate control sometimes can be very punishing, especially if you are on the offensive side. Can be some problems if you're not really in sync, which again could be an issue for the Ravens. But now's their opportunity, now's their chance. Really, in terms of control, the only one that London has played, including kickoff, is on Garrison. So a lot of those stats, a lot of that, strength is going to be coming into a new map. All focus on the Ravens coming into this one. We'll see if the NYSL can keep up with their aggressive play. Again, it's checkmate. Again, it's the ARs that are going to be in focus. We'll see how this one plays out. Starting things off with Clay, and I've been talking about ARs. He's actually going to be rocking the XM4 to start. I know he's been rocking a lot of Krig, at least in scrims, but focus instantly onto the A Street. And how about 2? A lovely beginning for NYSL, already gaining some presence over at A, and Clayster, he wants to get aggressive.
Yeah, to get 3 down right off the rip. Now they're able to work on some early ticks towards that 8 point. Alex able to get 1 kill, Asim with the trade. They're going to see a player jump off that top crate. He's going to get traded by Clayster. Clayster starting off the map 4-0. He's going to spot another player right in front of him. There goes the 5 spree for the 3-time champ. So far, he has not missed a beat, man, and this is a perfect example, especially for your young players. If your veteran player is stepping up, playing big like this, it just gives you that extra push to just show up when you need to.
Especially Clay going on a run, 6-0. Shawnee finally able to silence him, but of course it's Diamondcon on a 3-streak himself, picking up for his fellow AR. Gotta be fun for Diamondcon, right? Playing with Clayster, playing with a 3-time champ, wants to be one of those young guns that can bring Clay another ring. But it's the 8 point fast, it's the 8 point early. Instantly the focus kind of comes toward this top plane. Parasite's going to be there for the trade, but Ravens, you've got to really pick things up. You've got to be careful. Overall life count in favor of NYSL to start. Asim able to drop a few off the rip, and as the team fight begins to settle, it's Mack on the point, and Clayster still finding picks from long distance.
NYSL have just completely dominated this first map so far. They already got that 8 point. Now they're working towards B. 10 lives remaining for the London Royal Ravens. Mack trying to do everything he can with the submachine gun in their base. But finally, they're going to have to some time to be able to push up and gain some map control if you're the London Royal Ravens. Clayster able to open up with 1. Dylan's able to get the trade as well. But it's looking like the Subliners, NYSL, trying to push around that backside. And that's exactly what Diamondcon and Asim are doing. Working around that backside, trying to force all the players from the London Royal Ravens to spawn at wood and make it a lot easier for them to cap the point. But it's looking like London Royal Ravens only have 2 lives remaining. It's going to be 2 players left for the London Royal Ravens. NYSL looking like they're going to be able to walk away with this round number 1 in a pretty dominant fashion.
Dominant indeed. They didn't even have to go for the point.
God.
It was all about lives. That's terrifying, Study. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we were talking about, hey, you know, London, there could be a good opportunity. Instantly, off the start of the map, Clayster goes on a streak. He and Mack pretty much fill up that A street, and then from there, it's Diamondcon going on some wonderful plays. We see Mack here with the best play over, obviously, in the plane. Not a good start by any means. Parasite, the only close to even player right now for the roster, sits at 7-7. Now here on their offense, now's the time to show us something, right? You cannot go down 2-0, especially given the circumstance, given the opportunity that they have. Now here, where we stand. But nonetheless, fresh round. Early pick coming through from Alex as a look to try to instantly grab some plane control, as Dylan and Parasite will be able to go for the pinch and at least wipe away things for the moment. Parasite still hanging out. He's going to get tagged from the side and overall gets dropped. And if you look at that map, pretty much all focus now toward the bottom side as they're going to look to try to regain some control here at B. Keep in mind that player 6 is going to be Clayster, trying to hold on and try to really force the spawn out. And from here, it's going to be London back of the base, constantly popping up in the feed. And it's looking like a montage opportunity for Asim. He'll drop up close, 12-7 to start off this game. And for London, it seems as if they're facing off 2 opponents, Study. It's not just NYSL, it's really the fight just to get out of their base. 30 seconds left, no progress at all. Dylan, the last one alive, but he's got Mack, who's just going to beat him in the back of the head with the butt of his gun. London not able to do a single thing, Study.
And this is so scary if you're London. That very first defensive round, you guys got destroyed on. NYSL were able to win that with ease. Now you're going into your offense, and then you get destroyed. And this is the best case scenario for the NYSL, worst case scenario for the London Royal Ravens. They need to have an answer. Defense is definitely the preferred side, so this is a round that I'm expecting them to try to win right here. If not, they're going to be going home. And so far, this is a true identity test for me and the Subliners. So when I'm looking at the Subliners now, just like, dude, they choked a really close series versus Dallas, and now they're finding themselves out in this series, one round away from closing this one out in a pretty dominant fashion. Oh man, I feel like NYSL so far are going to become a top dog in this league, and so far they're showing it.
There indeed, my friend, looking good. Well, actually, I want to take a listen with what the Ravens are up to right now in regards to their communication. But very well could be the final round of this control. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the Royal Ravens.
I'm gonna go off the blue. One's low left turbine wing. Coming out, he's right barrel. B barrel. One shot, B.
I'll give it a sec, give it a sec.
Low turbine on me as well.
No, he's on my side A as well, back side A as well. That's like 2 and 8.
Coming down.
On A, he's outside. No, he's their side.
I need it.
Calling in the middle, he's middle part.
Sorry, trophy. One shot, little trophy behind the box.
Yeah. You're right, everyone play right, chalk it. Yeah, I'm coming back, man.
I'm right.
Get playing dead.
Bowling as well.
He's one shot mid B.
Back tower.
Yeah, he pushed out. Wait, give me a second.
Right dead.
Asim, one shot on point.
He's running away.
He's on the way. Yeah, push me right. Backstairs. Holding it. Three of them backstairs.
Back our spawn as well.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, he's fast pushing up. Get across.
One's top right exit, looking at me. He's top exit.
I didn't flash him.
Come on, let's go.
I was gonna help you.
I'm up left, Chris.
You fight me.
I'm here. He's dead.
Nice. Back right.
Plays on streak C4, by the way.
Two back right.
You got
Plays P4, by the way.
NYSL throughout that team comm session for the Ravens, they put up a 10-team kill streak. Buddy, what'd you make of the comms there as NY continue their progress at B?
You could just tell the London Royal Ravens are definitely flustered, man. None of the kills are going in their favors. Call-outs are a little intense, and just like that, the Subliners is going to be able to close out this map number 3 and close out the series in a 3-0. But if you're the London Royal Ravens, man, something has to change, man. Something's got to give. Saul, Alex, and Dylan just didn't have the performance that we're used to seeing them have, especially as a submachine gun duo. They just completely got dominated that entire series. Hopefully in the next series that they play, they're able to bounce back, because so far, London Roar Ravens are not looking good.
Look at that. Look at that. Clayster, totally different emotions in comparison to the post-game versus the Thieves. Now a totally different story. Literally, the script has without a doubt been flipped. They get through with the 3-0 here versus London in one of the most dominating series that I have seen in a very, very long time. I don't really remember all the series that we've had so far throughout the season, but at least in terms of official play, this one is definitely going to be up there, right? 250-151 in the hardpoint, 6-1 in S&D, 3-0 in the control, and it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, there's some good moments there. No, it was a guaranteed 3-0 here in the control. It was arguably a 6-0 in the S&D. My goodness, from top to bottom, a definitely looking, or rather a totally different looking NYSL to start. Parasite, the only player above, look at this, 6 kills for Dylan, Shawnee, and Alex. And that's it. They have 18 combined across 3 rounds. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Definitely not.
Got 20 kills by himself.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, it's hard to obviously take a loss like that. And for London, again, you're kind of in a situation where you're in limbo right now, Study. Again, you're waiting for Zero. I still actually have no idea what's going on with Zero right now. In regards to visa things and that nature, obviously Parasite's here. Is he going to be here for a long time? I think, you know, the way that you described it when it came down to that comm session with him in the Astro Gaming Listening was without a doubt correct. They just seem flustered. They just don't seem in control. Every single series for them, including the kickoff, has gone to a Game 5. And it was just really, there was no chance that we were going to a Game 5 at all. Really, after the first round of control, it was kind of guaranteed.
Yeah, man. If you're the London Roar Ravens, man, you go into that very first hard point, you try to keep it as close as you can, but you have 3 players who go -10. If you're not keeping them in the slaying department, especially in the game mode like hard point, you don't stand a chance. Then you go into the search and destroy. Shawnee pulls off an insane ninja defuse for the very first round. Should provide you guys some momentum. But the NYSL, they just completely just rushed every single round, played trades perfectively, and you could just tell that they had strategy on that map. Now, going into that control, the defense that London Royal Raven lost right off the rip, it just can't happen. Clayster ran right up the middle of the street, was able to pick up 4, 5 kills eventually, and before he was able to drop. And if you're London, man, like I said, you guys got to find a spark going into your next couple of series throughout the rest of the week.
Spark needed, that's without a doubt, my friend. And we'll go and take a look back at that control. As quick as it was, we want to take a quick little gander back at our scuff play of the game. This one coming in round number 3. And it's really just the ending sequence here for NYSL. Just the way they're able to lock things up. I mean, but it was kind of that push through the A street, allowed for the players to pretty much just get spawn trapped, to be honest with you, which can happen on Checkmate, but a majority of the time it's not going to be this dominant. And I know at the top of the show we talked about how, you know, there's a lot of really stacked competition. There are, you know, this is going to be the most competitive year that we have ever seen, and that's just making us kind of eat our words in that particular sequence. I mean, again, from top to bottom, a solid series from the Subliners and Ravens. Back to the drawing board. I mean, maybe you get rid of the drawing board. You try to, you know, you just try to change things up. I have no idea. But we'll go take a look at our road to the major. Our current standing Subliners able to muster their first win. A lot of series still to come for them. Ravens still sitting at the bottom. And again, Study, we talked about it. Ravens, their schedule does not get easier. They still have Dallas, they still have the Thieves, and they still have Røkkr to face off against. Really the 3 teams that are currently leading at the top of the standings for Group Alpha.
Yeah, man, if you're the London Royal Ravens, there's a long, long road ahead for you guys. You guys just got to focus on one series, one map at a time. Hopefully they're able to bring it back.
Definitely, my friend. Definitely. Some good sequences from Ravens here and there, but just overall, a whitewash. Let's go and take a look at our Challengers season. Obviously, we talked about this. We got 20 weekend cups across North America, Europe, and APAC. $130,000 in total prizing. A lot of awesome things, obviously, going on there across, you know, North America, Europe, and APAC. $500,000 total prizing. Obviously, we're broadcasting the finals as well. Major shout out to all of the teams, really all of the talent doing some amazing things there. And our players to watch really in Challengers currently, at least for the moment. What we've got Saints for the Subliners Academy. He has been lighting it up. Good old Renato doing some damage for them. Sib, of course. Sib's obviously got to always be looking out for an Afro from House Tarth. Tell you what, man, Afro is is absolutely unbelievable and actually a substitute for the Royal Ravens. I don't know. But still, excited to see exactly what the Ravens can do moving forward. A lot of awesome matches still to come. And when we come back actually after this break, it's myself standing by with Clayster. We'll be back right after this.
The New York Subliners. This is basically a brand new roster for the Subliners. All things have changed, and here we go. Clay once again comes up clutch.
He is the true veteran.
Diamondcon, oh, keeping this run going.
Asim has really been having himself a hell of a series.
Mack hopping up in the feed. Shout out to Mack, that was a killer two-piece. And a fantastic end to the round there for New York.
Your Victory Spotlight presented by Game Fuel. I'm Lando standing by with Clayster of NYSL. Clay, I mean, what, man? Fast series, a good series to say the least. A much different look in comparison to just your emotions in terms of the post game. How did it feel getting that first win on the board?
I felt good, man. You know, obviously it's a new team. I'm teaming with a couple players who are a little bit more inexperienced than what I'm used to. But, you know, to come out here and to answer back with a 3-0 after we got 0-3 against LA Thieves, it's good for us. It's good for our confidence, all that sort of stuff.
I want to ask you, like, really kind of coming into this series, I have to imagine that, you know, wasn't really proud, or rather, you guys weren't really, like, stoked with the way the performance has been going up to this point. I know it was kind of a quick roster adjustment versus Dallas. They obviously lose 0-3. One of the closest 3-0s that we've seen in a very long time. 0-3 loss to the Thieves just a few weeks ago. Any adjustments? Was there a lot of practice coming into this series to make sure that you guys got this win?
Honestly, dude, and I'll speak true and honest here. I had a bit of a meltdown yesterday. We've been making a lot of mistakes in practice, like continual repetitive mistakes that we've been over and we're trying to fix. And I had a bit of a diva moment and basically had a full-on meltdown yesterday and was like, dude, like you guys have, you know, we got to prove it to ourselves that we're a good team. We got to prove it to everyone else that we're a good team, and you have to prove it like to each other that we're a good team. And I definitely flew off the handle a little bit and went a little bit over the line with them. But I want to shout out, you know, Diamondcon, Asim, Mack, for truly stepping into the moment and stepping up to the game, you know, and really performing super well and not letting me getting super angry and super upset affect our match day, which it very well could have. So I just want to give a quick shout out to those guys, you know, for dealing with my antics and for coming hard and going hard today and just making sure that we came out of here with a dub.
Well, it definitely worked regardless of, you know, the way that things have been going. Clearly, things are looking to be a little bit different in terms of the New York camp. Now, I was told to ask you something in regards to maybe a fine or something that may have gone down. This is myself tweeting saying we'll pay his fine. So tell me a little bit about this more.
Yeah, so we were all sitting here in the pre-match, and I had complained last time about showing my cam when I was super upset with my team and going hard because the CDL requires us to leave our cams on and stay here instead of doing the flip up or unplugging the cam and stuff. And so I was pretty upset with them airing my after-match comms the first time when there was no comms, and then we're sitting here watching, and I saw that they released the comms with it too, and so it was basically just kind of a nice, you know, screw you before the match. I don't appreciate that. I'm going to be having a talk with the league. You know, if they're going to make us sit here and stuff like that, I think it's a little unprofessional to use the comms in the video from that, especially right before we play our match.
I got you, man. I got you. Well, at the very least, it's passion at the end of the day. Obviously, a drive to want to get better. But Clay, we greatly appreciate you for joining us. Again, congrats on the win. Any comments to the fans out there for New York?
Hey, man, we're trying to win out here for you guys. We're trying to do our best. I appreciate everybody that's sticking by us and rooting for us and stuff like that. I really just hope that we continue to make you guys proud, and, you know, I hope to cause some upsets. You know, everyone's like, oh, they're bottom of the 12 teams, and it's like, well, I just hope everyone keeps thinking of us like that because, you know, we're all out for vengeance, man. Like, we're all on a revenge tour right now. All three of my teammates, this is like their prove it year. For me, this is my prove it year. You know, I'm going as hard as I've ever gone. You know, I'm still competing. I'm trying to win for you guys, trying to win for each other. So hope we make you guys proud, and I hope you keep supporting us no matter what happens.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, that was your Victory Spotlight presented by Game Fuel. Clay, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, bud. See you later.
All right, next up, Seattle Surge taking on the Minnesota Røkkr. The week only continues. We've got a ton of more matches to come. The final match of day 2 here of our CDL Super Week is right around the corner. We'll be back right after this.
Do you see what it looks like outside? Come on.
Come on, man.
You weren't
Let the
losing
Minnesota
that shit.
It is day 2 of CDL Super Week as we are getting ready to hop into our final match of the day. Seattle Surge taking on the Minnesota Røkkr. We are still here in our headquarters, our virtual studio. Things are looking up. Some close, not so close games, but you know we've had some interesting stuff to say the least so far up to this point, Study. But of course we've got a great match on our hands coming up next. Excited to watch both these teams face off, and let's go get right into it. Let's go ahead and meet our first team, the Seattle Surge.
Finds the first. Assault's in trouble. Prestinni looking dangerous. Such aggression right now.
Octane is just ripping the entirety of the Guerrillas. Wow. They line up in front of him, Loony. The angle. What is that? He got the kill. Are you kidding me? Now Seattle's inside. 249, 249. Seattle won.
That is your Seattle Surge, hot off a nice victory versus London just about a week or so ago. Obviously a different look team. Octane surrounded by some familiar faces, of course, around the CDL, but really just in general, Study. To talk about this team, for me, it's those two guys on the left primarily who are going to be, at least on paper, the guys to look out for. You got the human turret. Now you got 240 Hz Gunless.
Oh man, with those two ARs on your team, all the opposite teams are going to be scared. That backfield of just those two players is insane. Octane on one end, Gunless on the other. And let's not forget Loony. He's one of the most smartest players in the entire history of Call of Duty. I'm excited to see all three of these players back together again.
It's going to be fun to watch Seattle. It's also going to be fun to see, obviously, the roster they're facing off against, a group of veterans as well. Let's go ahead and meet our Minnesota Røkkr. Your Minnesota Røkkr with at least one of my favorite intro videos, without a doubt, in the entire CDL. I mean, really from top to bottom. A great roster, a solid group of guys. Really, we talk about this team, a totally different look for the Røkkr coming into this new season. Obviously, bring in accuracy and attach from the Subliners. You've got MajorManiak and Priestahh coming in from Atlanta FaZe. Some old duos, and really guys who just want to win, a passion to obviously try to walk away with games, guys who are hungry at this stage in their career to want to continue to improve. And I'm excited for the Røkkr this season, Study, especially given their recent victory versus the defending champs, Dallas Empire.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Røkkr too, man. From top to bottom, this roster is completely stacked. You talk about players individually skilled. You're talking about Priestahh, talking about attach. Even MajorManiak, guy's just an absolute beast. Then you team him up with the Iceman in himself in accuracy. The only thing about this roster is their hardpoint, man. When are they going to win a hardpoint? Is it going to be this series? They're currently 0-6 since the kickoff classic. So now they're going up against a team in the Seattle Surge. We know how good they are in S&D. But for them to walk away with this series, I need them to steal a hardpoint.
Yeah, I mean, really, both teams not great when we talk about, obviously, this particular mode of hardpoint. Both 1-10 combined, by the way.
Wow.
Including kickoff. So, hey, now's our chance to improve upon the record. Checkmate hardpoint is where we will check in for our first map of what hopefully is a very long series. It's been constant 3-0s today. And I'm hoping that we actually will have a very good series on our hands. I think that we have the opportunity to, my friend.
Yeah, we definitely do, man. And that's exactly how this game's going to start. Loony able to turn and burn onto attach right there. 3 go down for the Minnesota Røkkr. So far, this is a good start for Seattle Surge. They have spawns going into that P2, and they're also picking up all this time for P1. But they just lost the spawns, as I say.
I was getting ready to say it looked like a great position, just like that. Minnesota, they're happy to grab some as well. A lot of focus going to be on a few different players for Minnesota really throughout the entirety of this game. Priestahh, at least in my opinion, one of the guys to look out for. I know last year on Atlanta, didn't really have the opportunity to shine when we talk about that star-studded lineup. Now he's got the opportunity to with this team. Another guy, of course, going to be attached in a major gunfight, able to take down Loony, who was trying to hide behind those yellow crates. Minnesota really just looking to try to clear out the spawns. A lot of focus going to be on these players trying to make their way through Finn, at least to start. Røkkr able to shut them down. Seattle looked as if for a moment they were starting to train through that A street. However, it's going to be a no-go. A lot of free time for Minnesota at least to start. Prestinni with that Krig really through mid-map, just trying to find a pick, but Røkkr not giving anything away.
Yeah, Røkkr playing this beautifully, man. You see that number player who just dropped, which is MajorManiak. He's posted up on that left wing, forcing all the players from the Seattle Surge to spawn back towards that back P4 area. And now it's looking like Minnesota are basically going to try to get a full 60 on this P2 hardpoint. And that's exactly what they're going to do, man. Good bounce back, especially the way that they gave up 27 points on that first hill. It's not exactly what you want to do, but securing a full 60 on that P2 is a great bounce back if you're the Minnesota Røkkr.
It is indeed a good moment for them. It was a temporary, I want to say 10 streak for Minnesota off of that yellow crates hole where they grab basically every single second. We talk about P3, I mean, this is going to be a hill where it's just spotty time back and forth. It's really kind of about the future spawns for the most part is really kind of what the primary focus is. Attached, finding himself on the 5 spree, really just kind of toward that A street, clearing things out and maybe having that future spawn knowledge really in the back of his mind, but crossfire engagement. Seattle now hopping inside the hill. Attach. Big gunfight win onto Prestinni, but I believe it was player 8 Gunless who was able to wipe him away.
Yeah, and it's looking like Seattle Surge are trying to get the remaining time on this hill. Eventually focus towards that rotation towards P4. But as I say that, a couple players are going to drop down towards that A street. MajorManiak trying to push through and flip the spawns out. He's going to drop. Loony eventually is going to go down. Now forces all the players from Seattle Surge to spawn back wood. So far, if you're Minnesota, this is a great start to this hard point. You're getting basically a lot of time on every single one of these hills. You hold a full 60 on that P2. You basically keep them off that P3 the entire time. Now you are set up for P4. Here comes Loony trying to come around the backside to take 2 down, but he's going to get dropped. MajorManiak with the turn and burn on the Octane. Great hold so far out of Minnesota Røkkr. If they can keep this up, it can get real scary for the Seattle Surge.
Minnesota, they've been dominating over at A Street, and now they're doing it with the time. Let's go ahead and go to an Astro Gaming listen with Røkkr.
They're behind us. I'm watching our back.
Their steps, Loony.
Yeah, they are.
Their steps, Loony. Their steps, Loony.
I'm holding great crazy.
Do
you know where he went? I'm
dead.
One
Okay, let's go over there.
I'm holding left. I'm holding left.
Look, I'm hitting top lane.
Okay, try to get new, Dill. Try to get new.
I can wrap towards new, yeah.
Someone should help me left, I think.
I'm wrapping.
I have your up tower. I can hold over you.
Arnold dead.
One's mid alley.
They're nading me. Too old. Old Sam.
Looking mid alley.
3 hitting old. 3 hitting old. No bullshit.
One's
3 hitting left.
I have tower. I have the cross.
Okay,
I got one. One more.
I have deep left. 2 deep left. 2 deep left, bro.
I spawned here.
2
there. 2 on me.
I'm wrapping.
I got no wood. Almost back left. He went
back left.
One shot wing. Absolutely.
Where'd he go?
He's one shot. Good shit.
Don't come get a trophy because
I'll come get
I'll
you, Lamar.
You got me. Graffiti. There you go. Good job, Bill.
I'm pushing up front, B-wing.
I'll help you.
Lower top. I got nade.
Oh, you low right.
Nice
job. Try to get some.
Okay, you go for time.
You're sitting upstairs. Stay down from upstairs. Stay down from upstairs.
Test box.
Front right. Inwood.
I don't know about you, Study, but really kind of throughout that entire sequence, obviously with Minnesota getting P5 spawns the way that they did, I heard a lot of praise really in the communication from the guys saying, hey, good job doing this, good job doing that. Really, when we talk about chemistry with this team, these guys are going to have it regarded as a very disciplined-like roster. They've yet to win a hard point. Boy, are they making this one look like the record should be flipped.
Yeah, and I love the comms out of Minnesota Røkkr, man. You could just tell they were really emphasizing the important kills on the map. You heard accuracy, back left, rotating towards that P5. You heard Priestahh and MajorManiak realizing like that one needs to happen. That kill needs to go down for them to secure the spawns and eventually get a lot of hill time. And so far, they have been doing that the entire map so far. They get a full setup. They know exactly where all the players are coming from. You're going to see them on the second rotation of hard points now. 184 to 64 points. We were asking Minnesota Røkkr to give us a hard point win, but I was not expecting it to be this dominant.
Player 8 almost going to try to do anything he can right now toward the back of the spawns. And if you're Seattle, you need to get this one straight up. It needs to be yours. Minnesota, at least to start off this next hill, are going to be able to gain the time and attach. He's going to spot Pierce out. Can he win the gunfight? He does. Prestinni's still going to be here. Attached, the awareness is still there. He and MajorManiak there with the crossfire. MajorManiak, by the way, on a 5 spree himself. Again, it has been all highlights up to this point. Player 7, Loony, is going to be here for what could be somewhat of a spoiler. Make sure to get rid of the trophies, so maybe a few of those nades can come over from the team. Also is able to do some work from the back. Again, not a whole lot of time yet for Seattle. They'll be able to hop inside of the hill, and a lot of it is kind of based off of that push from Loony. Now, I'm not sure if he spawned there or if that was a rotation. Regardless, if you're Seattle, you'll take it at this point in the game, Scump.
Yeah, it was a beautiful rotation out of Loony. The time was going down. He saw all this gunfights from his teammates going down, decided to just play sneaky, work around that back yellow building, and eventually get the kill on the MajorManiak and flip the spawns to try to get some time. Focusing on the second rotation of hardpoints, 204 to 86. They're going to have to basically be playing flawless hardpoint from this point out. And I'm looking at Prestinni, man. We were talking about the sub-duos on both sides, but Prestinni currently 9 and 21. Not really stepping up to the plate when he needs to the most. Actually, the entire Seattle Surge, man, the only one positive is going to be Octane. So just in the slaying department, they're not keeping up. But it's all just because the Minnesota Røkkr are just completely dominating on rotation. Whenever they have the setup for the new hill, they've just been setting it up, emphasizing the kills that they need to really focus on. And it's just been a great hold so far to Minnesota Røkkr. You're going to see Seattle Surge trying to fight back in this one. 3 are going to go down. 30 seconds remaining on this P3 hard point. They need to get a good chunk of time and eventually set up for P4 if they want to fight back in this one.
Yeah, I know what Prestinni, as you called out, right now, a great performance by any means to start off this HP. Saw him with the XM4, saw him with the Krig to start off this game. Definitely kind of transferring to a few different weapons, but we talk about this particular hill. This is where the game kind of started to snowball in favor of the Røkkr. It was kind of really through this spawn transfer throughout P3. They were able to flip the spawns and really lock down time in A Street. Also lock down time at P5 as well. Seattle hoping to improve on a few things, at least to start off A Street. They will be able to hold the time. Currently, grabbing some seconds is going to be Octane. Here come the streaks. The artillery from Attach is at least going to be able to keep them out of the hill for a time. Instantly gridded with a few nades is Octane, but Human Turret was still holding on. MajorManiak able to drop him. Prestinni from the back, actually going to be going on a 6 spree. Just as I say that, accuracy is going to be there for the trade. If you're Seattle, you are getting a little bit more time. Prestinni's starting to play a little bit better. You're happy with that, but again, they've got a lot more work to do in order to make this game a close one.
Yeah, Seattle so far on this P4 hill, they have been holding this perfectly. You're going to see that number 7 player just trying to play this corner, be sneaky, but Minnesota Røkkr are breaking right through the middle, able to pick up some time. MajorManiak with 3 to the young man. He's trying to find the 4th. He's going to slide around the corner. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to take down Prestinni. But best case scenario done. He gets 3 right there. Minnesota Røkkr keep the spawns going into that P5. They're going to have Lamar, which is accuracy, set up all the way in the top tower. He's going to get gunned down by Gunless. But only needing 20 seconds left to close out this hill. Seattle Surge need to try to break this, need to try to pinch it, pick up every single kill to stay alive in this game.
Got a good opening sequence going, at least up to this point. Player 5 and Octane actually has to hop inside of the hill, can't win it on MajorManiak, but Prestinni, he can play spoilers, has a few teammates from the front. He's the one at the back, but they know he's here. They know that Prestinni's here. It's going to be up to Attach to walk away with the fight, tosses out the nade, trying to get him out of the HP, or at least toward the spawn, to make sure the HP can be clear. But Prestinni, he has to hop in soon. Why? There's only 5 seconds left in the game. He hops out. Accuracy is going to take him down. A few more seconds left, and this game belongs to the Minnesota Røkkr. Dominant really from beginning to end. They held P4, P5 a majority of the time, but P5 specifically was theirs every single time. MajorManiak, really one of the many best plays for Minnesota throughout this one. One of the many sequences that you could point to and say, Seattle, they should have had it.
Yeah, Seattle, they definitely could have came out the gates a little bit hotter. Minnesota, we saw them flip for that P2 immediately as soon as P1 started. As soon as the map started, they were just playing for the spawns. And you could just tell that entire map, even when we went for the Astro Gaming listening, the comms were all there. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They woke up today and said, oh, we're sick and tired of losing Hardpoint. Today's going to be different. And so far in this map number 1, it definitely showed it. And this can be really scary if you're the Seattle Surge, because we know how good Røkkr is in that map 2 game mode in Search and Destroy. They need to be able to bounce back in that map 2.
Yeah, man, that's a great call, right? I mean, up to this point, Minnesota 0-6 in Hardpoint. They look like, again, it should have been 6-0. Totally different story. Røkkr coming out hot and looking fantastic. Really throwing a number of different sequences. But hey, game 2 Search and Destroy, it's up next. Røkkr's bread and butter. Seattle also pretty decent at it as well. We'll see if Seattle can respond or if Røkkr can find themselves up 2-0. We'll be back on your browsers in just a moment.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
I mean, basically, MajorManiak just has to hope that nobody jumps behind him. He actually has bad timing. Oh no! Advantage, forced it to be. It's never over. It's never over. He was worried with Priestahh going down that they were going to fly behind him. Huke, though, does get taken down by accuracy. Now a 1 versus 2 for Crim. The GOAT is going to get taken down. It's accuracy. It's the anchor. Minnesota Røkkr with a big upset over the Dallas Empire in a match that they needed.
Nice.
Let's go, boys.
Let's go,
Come
boys.
on.
Just
Go.
you gotta win a damn respawn. Come on.
I didn't realize that guy just jumped out from green right there.
All that I gave it up for a second. That's my bad. I like stopped watching.
Go, boys. That's
huge.
the hard points. I got fried, bro.
Nah,
Good.
good.
Yeah.
1-3-0, bro. My wasn't working first game.
Just fried in those hard points.
In the ice.
Yes, sir.
We did, baby.
Yo, you see what it looks like outside? Come on.
Come on, man. We're the Minnesota to Texas, baby.
That was the Røkkr just days ago, taking down the defending champions, the Dallas Empire. One thing I took away from those comms study was, I think it was Major who basically said, all we got to do is just win a respawn. And they do that so far in this series, right? They're able to make good on it when it comes down to that one on Checkmate, making Seattle, pretty much making their heads turn. Really, when we talk about the way that they performed throughout this match, looking good at least to start off this game. And really, I mean, we talked about it kind of at the start of the show. If the Røkkr can win respawns, how solid they can be, a very high ceiling is definitely going to be inbound. And as we talked about the Minnesota Røkkr, we'll go and pull up our Game Fuel keys to victory for them, which is, hey, continue to win the Search and Destroys. They are 3-0 this season, a 1.20 S&D KD as a team, which is good enough for third. And then also, Røkkr need to step up in the hard points, 1-4 on the season. No Røkkr player is above a 0.97 KD in the hard points. And hey, again, we talked about it. They've got the hard part out of the way. Now it's time for them to focus on their bread and butter and some good old Search and Destroy.
Yeah, man. we're talking about it, the hard point, man, and they completely dominated that hard point. Every single rotation, they were fully set up. P2, P3, P4, P5. They were just having every single setup they wanted to, and it definitely showed on that map. One, if you're Minnesota Røkkr, you got to be riding the storm right now. You're feeling really good with that map #1 win underneath your belt.
And keys to victory for the Seattle Surge. Steady. Keep it going, my friend.
Yeah, we're going to start off with Gunless and Loony need to continue playing well in the hard points. And we saw it right there. Gunless was not the only player that didn't play well. We saw Prestinni as well. There were only at least one player positive, and I'm pretty sure it was Octane. So obviously, that key to victory wasn't in there. But Gunless, 1.54 in hard point wins compared to a 0.7 in losses. Same thing with Loony, 1.2 compared to a 0.7. The hard point was the biggest thing for me because we know how good of a search and destroy team this team can be, but we also know how good at search and destroy Minnesota Røkkr are. Yeah. So they're going to be 3-0. Seattle Surge, their backs are against the wall. Prestinni did not have the great first map that he was looking forward to, but this is the bounce back. You need to go into this search and destroy, at least keep it close, and try to pull this out to keep this series going.
Yeah, we talk about Raid, which of course is going to be up next for Search and Destroy. We'll have Raid for not just the S&D, but also the Control. So we'll be here for a little while. And kind of in reference as we fly in for this, I think you are kind of looking at Prestinni in terms of trying to maybe walk away with a few of those first bloods to try to make an impact. I mean, where do you think he could do that? Do you think he can do that on this map specifically for Seattle?
I think he definitely can, as long as he's trying to control around that P5 mid-map area, working towards pillars, working towards Zig, working towards water steps with his submachine gun. It could be really easy depending on how his teammates are set up around these other bomb sites. So if you're Prestinni, just try to stay aggressive towards mid-map.
We fly in for round one. Seattle kicking things off on offense. Early damage done. That's actually from MajorManiak. Keep in mind, a lot of pressure already inside of Art, or at least kind of just toward the outside. They're actually hanging out in Zig, so my apologies. Thought they were making their way in already. But Prestinni dropping early for the first blood. Offense not scattering necessarily, actually keeping together pretty well. Priestahh with somewhat of a nice angle sitting through P5. MajorManiak aware of that push that only seems to continue. Again, despite being down in man count, Seattle, they're just looking to stay together, trying to find those picks and really put those Krigs to use. Able to free up some space, get some real estate, and that bomb goes down from Loony.
Yeah, now it's a 4v3 retake for the Minnesota Røkkr. You're going to have Gunless versus MajorManiak trying to push out this laundry side. Here comes his teammate in Octane trying to help him. But all the players from Minnesota Røkkr flanking the backside. Loony able to take down one. He's going to get traded by aBeZy. Octane able to line it up with a 2v2 now. aBeZy going to push up towards this left side laundry. 20 seconds are going to be remaining. Octane going to be able to take down Attach in the top window. Octane trying to take down aBeZy. Now it's a 1v1. Gunless is making the great heads-up play here. Dashy just play the clock. Should be able to take out aBeZy here in any second. But that's a great first round out of Seattle, man. They ended up getting first blooded, but they still make the round winnable. And that's exactly what they do, just winning their gunfights when they need to. Great first offense out of the Surge.
Definitely, my friend. Like, yeah, I thought for a moment it was not looking good for Seattle because obviously Prestinni drops for the first blood. Then in my mind, I was like, okay, they might run into a few problems, but there isn't really a whole lot of focus inside of Art. Priestahh, I think he had somewhat of an angle toward P5 from pillars, but really just in general, they focused well. They got some map presence. They made sure that laundry and a little bit of jungle were clear, and from there they gave themselves some space, and really in the attempt to retake Røkkr, they just couldn't really get a whole lot going. And that's a good sign if you're a Seattle fan. Really just kind of wipe that first game out of your memory. Focus on some search and destroy because you're going to have to continue with that prowess as the game continues because of how good this Røkkr team has been at search and destroy, specifically MajorManiak and Priestahh. Really just filling the stat sheets, and that's a nice angle from Prestinni. We actually saw that one a few weeks ago. Pretty much just aiming through the statue, can get that line sight on the top mansion. Gunless is able to get one in sequence as well. An instant 2v4 for Røkkr. And not in the greatest of positions, considering that Gunless is watching their back door. I think Priestahh is trying to get up close and personal. Attach is able to get a little bit of space. Now, last man alive, Dylan Attach. But a lot of search and destroy tournaments, a lot of search and destroy rounds clocked in, but a little bit too difficult when you got three players knowing exactly where your position is.
Yeah, man. The Seattle Surge right there, their defense was beautiful. You had Gunless sitting towards kitchen. You had Prestinni push up towards that P5, play towards those water steps. He was able to open up with a great angle first blood on the accuracy. But then you saw him. He shot from water steps and baited the player out at Zig that gave Gunless that free kill. MajorManiak peeked it, thinking that that player from water steps was going to turn the corner. That was just great communication out of the Surge right there to win that round. Now they're going to be going into an offense. They're going to completely switch up pace right now. They're going to decide to bring this over towards A. A couple shots are going to go into accuracy, into that top pocket. Going to force him down. But this is an open A planner. They decide to take it.
Actually has to be careful. I was going to say, kind of playing that island position over at basketball. Gunless is going to drop him with the Krig, which only continues to make more of a presence, especially in these search and destroys. MajorManiak tries to go